Hi, I'm Lee. I love animals and plants, and I'm going to show you all the reptiles that I currently have. I have this cool notebook. Check it out. It has dinosaurs on it. If you're wondering why I'm looking at it, I just wrote some notes that I want to say about each animal. But this is Slinky. He was my first ever snake. Slinky is a type of colubrid snake called a western hognose snake. They're called hognose snakes because their rostral scale, which is their scale at the very tip of their face, is bigger than most snakes and it's slightly upturned, which is an adaptation that allows them to dig easier so they can burrow really easily into dirt really far down, that way predators can't get them. A lot of people think it's really cute, me included, and it makes them pretty popular as pets. And also the fact that they stay pretty small makes them popular as pets. Slinky is a male hognose snake, which are even smaller than the females, and he likely won't get any bigger than this. I think he's full grown. Hognoses are from the mid-US and parts of Canada and Mexico. So they're from around here. Not quite where I live, but close. Another cool thing about hognose snakes is that they flatten out their head just like a cobra whenever they're upset. So Slinky, he's not doing it right now because he's fairly happy. He was a little bit upset for a second because he's the first one taken out, and I was setting up the camera and he didn't know what was going on, but he's really happy right now, so he's not doing it, but it might happen today. It probably will. I actually have 3 hognoses. I'm not really going to get into his genetics too much because I don't want this video to be that long, but he does have some interesting genetics. He's an anaconda, which is just a morph that means that he has less spots. He's also het albino and het axanthic, which means that he doesn't show up as albino or axanthic, but he can make babies that are albino or axanthic. And if you're not familiar with snake genetics, the most basic way to explain that is that axanthic snakes tend to be kind of silvery color or black and white, and albino snakes are usually orange with red eyes. So Slinky, he looks like how a hognose snake would look like in the wild, just with less spots. As you can see, Slinky is pretty friendly. He handles pretty well. Hognose snakes are known for hissing. They're big hissers, but for the most part, they're not bad at handling. Another part of the anaconda gene is that it makes his belly almost all black. Normal type hognose snakes have a more checkered belly, where it's part black and part brown or orange, but as you can see, his belly is different. So that's Slinky. He's cool, he's awesome. Also, I did not know about Camp Kennan's Asian water monitor that's named Slinky before I named him Slinky, so don't come at me for copying that name, because I swear I didn't know. This is my second hognose snake, and her name is Cider. She's named Cider because she kind of looks like apple cider, and I also got her in the fall. Most people get snakes in the fall. They're the most available during the fall, and so I wanted to give her a fall themed name. You can probably tell that she's a little bit bigger than Slinky, and she will continue to get bigger because hognose females are about 3 times the size of males. They're bigger, that way they can hold and lay a ton of eggs. Males don't need to be able to hold any eggs, obviously, so therefore they evolve to be smaller. As you can tell, Cider is a different color. She's orange. That's because she's albino. She is albino, she's het axanthic, just like Slinky, and also she has the anaconda gene, just like Slinky, which means she has less spots. Because of this, together they have the possibility to make supercondas, which is when a snake has 2 copies of the anaconda gene, and it makes them have no spots. One cool thing about Cider is that because she has the anaconda gene, her belly is all one color, and because she's albino, it ends up being a kind of translucent appearance. See? So when she was little, I think you could see her heart, but I can't see it anymore since she's gotten bigger. Hognose snakes have round pupils. So you may be used to seeing snakes that have slit pupils. During the day, the pupil would be slit and very small, and during the night, it would expand to look circular. Hognose snakes have eyes that work like ours, where during the day they do shrink, but they just shrink into a smaller circle. That's because hognose snakes are diurnal, just like us, which means they're up during the day and they sleep at night. And it just makes more sense evolutionarily for them to have round pupils, although I don't know why. One interesting fact about Cider is that she likes to soak in her water bowl. She only does it sometimes, she's not in there all the time, but randomly I'll come in here and she will just be curled up inside her water bowl, and it's really cute. Did I hit record? Oh shit. This is Sylvia. She is my last hognose snake for now, so if you're getting bored of hognose snakes, I promise she's the last one. As you can see, she is not as nice as the others because I haven't socialized her as much as I'd like to. I don't take her out too much. But she is, in my opinion, the most beautiful pet snake that I have. She's axanthic, which means that gives her the silvery color. She's also het albino, and she is anaconda, just like the other two. If you know about snake genetics, you could probably tell my goal, what I'm trying to make, oh my god, what I'm trying to make with these guys is called snow hognoses. Snow hognoses, oh my gosh, girl, come on now. Snow hognoses are albino and axanthic visually, and this makes them white. So they end up as a white snake. That's why they're called snow, and they are absolutely beautiful. And I hope to make one, or multiple, or a lot with my hognoses. At this point, though, she's still pretty small. She's getting there, though. Part of the reason I think that she doesn't socialize quite as easy as the other two is because she's so smart. Hognoses typically are kind of dumb. Sorry, no offense, hognoses. So they don't care too much about danger. They just decide that their situation is probably fine and they just don't care. Sylvia, though, you can tell she's worried about danger, and I think that shows that she's kind of smart. Also, I noticed right away when she was a baby how aware she seems. She always looks outside of her enclosure and she reacts to anything outside of her enclosure, which the others don't seem to do. I'm confident that with some more socializing, she'll come around, especially since I do think she's smart. I think she could learn to figure out that humans are not so bad. And she's so beautiful. I want to be able to take her out and everything more often and show people without her going crazy. So yeah, that's Sylvia. And hopefully as she gets older and bigger and mellows out, you know, she might be a little bit better at handling them. But look, now she's being good. Look how cute she is. She's so cute. This is Anastasia. Honestly, after just having held all my other snakes, she feels huge. She's my biggest snake, and she will probably forever be my biggest snake. Anastasia is a boa constrictor. Well, technically she's a boa imperator, not a true boa constrictor, but her common name is a boa constrictor, and that's what I usually call her to most people. Boa constrictors are from South America. They're very famous. They're in lots of movies and stuff like that. A fun fact about them is that they give live birth. Most snakes lay eggs, but they give live birth. I'm currently building her a huge enclosure that is 6 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet, and I'll show some footage of that because that's a really crazy project. It's absolutely crazy how big that enclosure is. Lots of people love her tail. She has lots of beautiful reds on her tail. Anastasia is also super nice, which is awesome. Boa constrictors are known for being extremely nice, which is great because they're so big. With hognose snakes, they're kind of like the chihuahuas of the snake world. You know, they hiss a lot, they're really huffy and puffy, but they get away with it because they're so small. If something as big as boa constrictors acted like that, they wouldn't be candidates for pet snakes, really. Well, I say that, but I mean, there's like emerald tree boas and stuff, which kind of would fit that category. Anastasia is definitely one of my favorites. She's so awesome. Just look at her. Like, she's so cool. I really don't have anything else to say about her, but she's just so cool. I want to have her out for a little bit longer. So maybe you guys want to just look at her for a second. Oh my god, she's so awesome. She's so beautiful. It's like so crazy. Girl, don't fall. What are you doing? I don't think that's gonna work out for you. Can you even see her anymore? Like, she's literally out of frame. Girl, that's not a tree. I don't think that's gonna work. Can she hold herself up right now with that? I don't think so. Oh my god. What the hell? How are you doing that? She can actually hold herself up. She did that. That was so weird, but here she is. Look how awesome. I'm just showing her off at this point. She's so cool. This one is Basil. He was my first ever reptile, and he's a leopard gecko. He's a really big leopard gecko, as far as I know. I didn't really know his size relative to other leopard geckos until I started seeing other people's in person, and I was like, dang, Basil's really big. He's like 12 inches, or he's at least close to 12 inches, and he's like 100 grams. He's just massive for some reason. I don't even think he's like overweight, maybe a tiny bit. He's just big. He's big boned. Leopard geckos are from the Middle East and parts of India, and they are geckos, but they're terrestrial geckos, which means that they live on the ground. When you usually think of geckos, you think of them climbing up trees, being really little and having sticky feet, and they show up in your house or something if you live in tropical areas. But there's also geckos who live on the ground. So Basil does not have sticky feet. He's not good at climbing, but he does have little claws that he can use for digging. Leopard geckos are extremely popular pets, and I think it's totally justified. They're really easy to care for, and they're just super awesome and friendly. Also, I know I said sticky feet for most geckos, but it's something else. It's like they use electromagnetic energy or something. I don't know, but you get what I was saying. Leopard geckos are also different from most geckos because they have eyelids, so they can actually close their eyes. I recently created a custom background for Basil's enclosure, so I'll put in some footage of that. And it has ledges incorporated that he does actually use. He does use them. At first, I would sometimes pick him up and just put him on the ledge. That way he would know it was there. But I actually recently walked in and I saw him just up there by himself, which is super awesome. I didn't do it for nothing. He does use the ledges. Another fun fact about leopard geckos that I hear is that apparently they are unaffected by scorpion stings. And it's because in their native range, they evolved to be able to eat scorpions as part of their diet. So they're unaffected by stings and they can eat them all they want. Of course, in captivity, I don't feed him scorpions, so I don't actually know if that's true, but it's kind of interesting. He's good. He's walking down my leg. Basil, what the heck? Right there. Leopard geckos are probably like the best pet reptile ever. They're really so awesome. Also, I forgot to mention that both Anastasia and Basil are just normals. They don't have any interesting morphs. They look the same as their species would look in the wild, which makes them really cheap. Basil was only $30. He's basically free. Oh my gosh, there's a ladybug. Oh. I hope Basil doesn't try to eat that ladybug because I don't know if that's safe for him. Please don't eat it. Put that on this side. So there's Basil. I don't have anything else to say about him, but I know that he must look so cute right now on my shoulder. So I'm just gonna, I don't know, Basil's cool. He's awesome. I don't know, he's cool. He's there. He's looking at some plants. Okay, there he goes. I love reptiles. Oh my gosh, I love reptiles. They're so cool. My newest reptiles are morning geckos. And I can't take them out because they're so small, so instead I'll just sit with the enclosure right here and I'll show B-roll. Morning geckos are tiny geckos from Southeast Asia and the Pacific Islands. They pretty much spread everywhere they could. Right now I have 3 babies in this enclosure, and I just got them a couple days ago. So far they're eating well and they're absolutely adorable. They're also nocturnal, so I don't really see them during the day. Like right now I don't see them at all. They're so tiny, they just run into a little crevice. But at night, as soon as I turn the lights off, they start prowling for food and running all around, and they're really adorable. Morning geckos are really popular because they breed so prolifically in captivity, and they're also really easy to care for. They reproduce parthenogenically, which means that they are all female and they produce clones. Because of this, if you have more than one, you're just gonna end up having more. You don't even have to try to breed them, you're just gonna end up having a ton. I'm excited to see how quickly they'll grow, and also I'm excited for this enclosure to grow in, you know, the plants. So with the morning geckos, that's all my reptiles. I hope you enjoyed seeing them and the shenanigans they were getting up to crawling on me. If you want to see more videos about reptiles, plants, invertebrates, and fish, please subscribe because that's going to be all this channel is about. So yeah, see you in the next one.